Hey kids. So 7 or 8 years ago, maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, but let's just say 8. Let's split the difference and go with 8. I took a leap. I tried to do something different, and I did something that I'm finding has impacted my life in more ways than I thought it had. As time goes on, I feel like it's affected me more and more. And so I thought I would make a video about it, if for no other reason to let everybody else know that this was something that I did that I felt helped me and that I think could help other people as well, if you're interested. I'll get to the point right now. I took improv classes, comedy improv classes. Now, if you've taken improv classes, then everything I'm about to say, you're probably going to just be sitting there nodding your head and be like, yes. If you've never taken improv classes, if you've never even seen an improv performance, you might not really know what I'm talking about. So the TV show, Whose Line Is It Anyway, sort of popularized the whole improv comedy thing. But it's not really, I mean, that is a form of improv comedy. There's several different types of improv comedy. That's what you might call game improv or sport improv, I think it's sometimes called that. But there's another kind of improv, and this is what they actually taught where I went to. And by the way, it's the Dallas Comedy House, if anybody's curious. It's down on Elm Street, downtown. I started taking these classes, and I don't really remember why exactly I started doing it, but it was just something that I thought would be fun. And it wound up not just being fun, it wound up, I don't want to say changing my life, because that's a bit dramatic, but it definitely impacted my life. It enhanced my life in a lot of ways. So, getting back to where I was going a second ago, there's different types of comedy, and what they taught there is what they call long-form improv. And it's basically you have a troupe of people, and obviously if you're in a performing troupe, you've done it lots of times. You've been doing this for years, and you know each other really well, and you know how to work off of each other and everything. But no, it's 5 or 6 people, and they go out and they make up sketches and comedy skits on the spot. Sometimes they take a cue from the audience, or like somebody throw out a word, and somebody says a word, and they're like, okay, we'll do that. And then they all go off stage, and one person walks out, and then it all just kind of builds from there. Now, when it's done badly, it's pretty bad. It's kind of like a violin. So I played violin when I was a kid, and a well-played violin is the most beautiful sound in the world. A badly played violin is the worst. It's worse than bagpipes. It's worse than fingernails on a chalkboard. It's awful. Improv comedy is kind of the same way. When it's bad, it's pretty bad. But when it's done well, it's literally like a magic trick. You can sit there and watch, and the people that have been doing it for a long time and who know each other really well and know their strengths and whatnot, it is literally like watching a magic act, because you're seeing them put together not just funny sketches, but stories, full-on stories and characters, and they bring them to life, and you're sitting there watching this, and you're like, how the hell did they just make that up? Because sometimes they come up with stuff that you couldn't possibly, you can't imagine that somebody didn't write it. And at the same time, you can't imagine that somebody could write it. It's just that good. When it's done well, it is nothing short of magic. But it's not magic, obviously. There's techniques involved, and there's craft involved with it. And the first thing that I learned doing improv comedy is comedy comes from truth. I guess I'm more of a jokey kind of guy, as you can probably tell from my videos. And I found that actually doesn't work in improv comedy. I would go out there and somebody would say something, and I would do a little, witty punchline, jokey joke kind of thing. That's not what improv comedy is. That's not what works there. What works with improv comedy is truth. Is, kind of defining a character, having some characteristics of this character, and sticking to it, being truthful and honest in your reactions and your responses and in your lines. And comedy just sort of flows from that. Now, obviously, if you're doing improv comedy, or if you're taking classes in it, you probably have a bit of a funny bone. You probably have a bit of a sense of humor. Like, why else would you be doing it? So, and I'll get back to a reason why that's interesting in a second. But what basically happens is you get these people together, and it is sort of, again, like magic. It's like the combination of these people and their senses of humor, it just kind of creates something really interesting. Now that's all about like what improv is, but really what I'm talking about here is why it's a good thing to try it. It's a good thing to do it, to take the classes. So when I took it at the Comedy House, and I think they structured this off of other places, so I think this is fairly standard, but it may vary according to where you go. But there were 5 levels to it. The 5th level was basically a performance level. So you basically joined a troupe and you performed every weekend, and you were basically doing it, not full time, but you were doing it on a regular basis. The first level is just fun. It's just, you learn the basic techniques that I'll get to in just a second, and it's just play. You just get together with people and you play for one night a week. Level 2, they start to kind of institute more rules. And this is where it actually starts to get hard, because level 1 is just play, you're playing around. Level 2 is where you have to actually start to like take in some information and understand all the different rules involved. And they'll stop you. Like you'll do a line, they're like, nope, can't do that. Here's why that was a bad choice. And then they'll, kind of guide you. And it gets really frustrating at that point, because you're just like, oh my God, I was just having so much fun with this. And now it's like you keep stopping me every 5 minutes. And then levels 3 and 4, you finally start to sort of internalize it a little bit. Slowly over time, you internalize these rules and you don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have somebody telling you to stop every single time you get a line out. And then it starts to get more fun again. So by the time you get through, say, level 4, it's just fun. And also by that time, you've done a few performances. At the end of all the different levels, at least where I went, we would have a performance for an audience. And you get a little bit more comfortable doing it in front of an audience. You get more comfortable with the people that you're doing it with, and it starts to become fun again. But some of these rules, the number 1 rule, I'll just stick with this one. The number 1 rule in improv comedy is yes and. Yes, comma, and, ... And what that basically means is, whatever somebody gives you, you accept it. You don't deny it, you accept it. And then you add to it. And then they accept what you've added to it, and then, do their thing. So like if you walk out and you say, welcome to my dentist's office. Today we've got half off. We're going to take half of your teeth out. And then the other person, you can't say, oh, this is a dentist's office? I thought I was walking into a grocery store, or something. Like, you don't deny what they're doing. You add to it. So the dentist character says that, and then you go, oh, good, can I get the right half out? Because the left half really is my better side. So it's yes and. So the guy comes out, I'm a dentist. And then you go, yes, and you're good at pulling teeth. Yes, and I like to pull teeth. Yes, and liking teeth is a good thing for a dentist. I'm doing a poor job here. But you get the idea. Like, you accept it, and then you add to it. And the reason why I feel like improv is important is because that is a huge life skill. It's not just a comedy thing. Life is an improv. Life is not scripted. Every conversation you have with another human being, that is not scripted. That is an improv. And to be able to just take what somebody gives you and accept it, to be able to just take what life gives you and accept it, and then say yes and move forward, it's kind of a life-changing mindset in a lot of ways. And when you see a lot of the old, like Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, a lot of these Saturday Night Live alums that came from Second City and doing the improv thing, they definitely take that in as a big influence in their lives, in the way that they live their lives and the way that they make their choices in life. Actually, it's funny that I'm kind of talking about this today, because just yesterday, somebody in the comments, I want to say Trish, I think her name was Trish, brought up this Bill Murray documentary that just came out on Netflix recently. And it talks about this in there. And I highly recommend it. It's a great documentary. I think it's called The Bill Murray Stories. And it's basically about like all these urban legends around Bill Murray about how like somebody would be sitting there eating at the restaurant and Bill Murray would walk up and just eat a fry off their plate and then go, nobody will believe you, and walk away. Like there's several urban legends about that out there. You know, there's a story about how he walked up on a couple getting their wedding photos taken, and he just like stepped in and got his picture taken with them like he was part of the couple. Bill Murray is basically an awesome human being, is the point of this documentary. And the reason why he's awesome is because he basically takes every single moment that he's in and plays. He just turns life into play. And they talk about in the documentary how where he kind of got this from doing, I think he was at Second City, doing the improv thing. Del Close is like the godfather of improv. He's the one who kind of came up with all the rules and showed how to do this long form style of comedy. And I think Bill Murray worked with him like back in the day. Del isn't around anymore, I don't believe. But anyway, my point is, watch that documentary if you got Netflix. I think it's fantastic. And if you're a Bill Murray fan, you're just going to love him even more. Like it really kind of lays out like how to be awesome, how to be an awesome person. You know, just do what Bill Murray would do. And then it ties all that into learning improv. But the last thing I'll say about this, by the way, look, if you're in a bad place in your life, maybe you just got out of a relationship, maybe you're feeling like you need to up your social game, you're not getting out that much, maybe you need new friends, maybe you just want to change the scene, maybe you just want something fun to do. I cannot enough recommend taking some improv classes because, like I said before, if you're in an improv class, if you're taking an improv class, you've got a little bit of funny in you. And what that means is that you are now surrounded in this class with really funny people and with really interesting people with interesting backgrounds, and everybody's different, by the way. It's very diverse in from ages to races, genders, everything. I mean, it's all there. And it's just so much fun, and you learn so much from it, and you take so much from it into your life. And I find, you know, in the doing of my YouTube channel, but also just in life, in conversations, and just being around people, I find myself kind of defaulting back to some of the stuff that I learned from improv, and it's made me a better person, I feel. So if you've never done it, I recommend trying it. It's definitely something that adds to your life, and I'm, like I said, it was 8 years ago, and I still am feeling the effects from it. But I don't know why I've never really talked about it before. I haven't done improv in a while. I just kind of got out of that after a while, and obviously now I'm doing the YouTube thing. And I feel like I miss it a little bit. If there's one thing about the YouTube thing that is less than great, it's that it's a very solitary... I mean, I sit here with my dogs all day long, you know, but I've been thinking about maybe getting into doing improv, or maybe taking some acting classes or something like that, just to sort of like get back into that kind of thing. But no, I wanted to put that out there, and if you have had any experiences with improv, I'd love to hear about it. If it's something you'd ever considered, again, and hopefully wherever you live, there might be one in your town. Obviously, you just have to go and look, but yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there and share something with you that has turned out to be quite meaningful to me, and I hope that means something to you. So there you go. I will cut this off for now. I am actually just about to record a video for Thursday, and we'll see how things go. But you guys take care, man. I'll see you soon.